Hey, Big Love fam. Welcome to SuperFreq. This is a high vibe podcast, y'all, exploring all things frequencies, how they govern, form, shape our realities, and are the key to living from your full potential. It's non-woo convos about super woo shit, unpacking what I call the science of self, from body and soul literacy to the power of understanding vibration, higher consciousness, quantum physics, and spiritual psych. Let this podcast become a resource for you on your journey to self-mastery. If you're curious and ready to free your mind, unlock the body, and truly become limitless, then you're in the right place. I'm your host, Talie. This is SuperFreq, awakening for the next gen. Let's go.
All right, everybody. In this week's clips, I'm going to talk about the dark empath a little bit more. This is from episode 10. If you want to listen to the entire episode, please go back and check that out. But in the meantime, I want to talk about how this actually comes to pass, and I get into a little bit more details about it. Hope you enjoy it.
If you have trauma and you're coming from trauma, you do not want to ruffle feathers. You do not want to challenge the status quo. You will become the matriarch of your family. You will become the strong one. You will be forced to grow up earlier. You will not talk about your needs necessarily. You will have silent bouts of emotional rage kind of by yourself. You may, and even if you're partnered, you will take care of everyone around you, and you're just going to get it. The whole thing is like getting it done. I just need to get it done right now. I'm keeping the long view. It's the someday win. In the future, when I have time, I have 5 more years, 6 more years of this. I'm going to finish, I'm going to get to myself when the kids are out of school, or I'm done doing this. And then all of a sudden, your life has gone by, over half of it, and you're just at the beginning of unpacking some really heavy shit. That's rough, because the longer you wait, the more those patterns ingrain. And the longer you wait or ignore or bypass, you spiritual bypass, you create all of this workaround, the more that you actually create and confirm those programs. And it's heavy. It gets really, really heavy. So here's how these complementary frequencies shape up. There are complementary frequencies to all of this. Someone who can't handle conflict will attract a people pleaser who loves to accommodate. And the people pleaser will attract someone who can't handle conflict to validate their "she's so great, so accommodating, and chill" perception that is really low self-worth, non-deserving, and disguised. Connecting children with disabilities to parents who came to just transcend control, self-sacrifice, and poor boundary setting. This is kind of like a stream of consciousness I had in my notes. Not setting the boundary with the child, but in others' areas of too much, smothering, enabling, and codependency. I know I mentioned that a little bit just a few minutes ago, but I think it's important to reiterate as just a note, something to look at. Another complementary frequency. Again, to repeat, someone who can't handle conflict will attract a people pleaser who loves to accommodate. And people pleasers will attract someone who can't handle conflict to validate that she's so great, she's super chill. It becomes the inverse. It really does. This is where it becomes really interesting. Going back to these types of empathy, where they hold different value structures, whereas the idea of having cognitive empathy and not emotional empathy leads to nuances and labels like the dark empath.
Thanks so much for listening, you guys. Please make sure to leave a review and follow the fun on social media, because that's how it works in this world. In the meantime, get your freak on. I'll see you in the next session.